discuss the nature, scope and purpose of directive principles of state policy as enumerated in Constitution. Or enumerate the directive principles of state policy. Ans. Articles 38 to 51 of the Constitution provide certain directive principles or policies to be pursued by the governments in the governance of the country. These principles are embodied as directions to the legislative and executive branches of the government to follow them in their routine working. These directive principles impose certain obligations on the state to take positive action in certain directions in order to promote the welfare of the people and to achieve economic democracy. Directive principles are more akin to moral rather than to legal precepts as they are non-justiciable. Directive principles have been included in the Constitution for following reasons. 1. Constitutional declarations regarding social and economic policies have become increasingly frequent. 2. Directive principles have at least educative value. 3. These principles serve as restraint on those who might capture power. The directive principles require the state to take positive action, and since they can be guaranteed only so far as such action is practicable in the circumstances, the state is bound under its constitutional obligation to apply these principles in making laws. In Kerala Education Bill, AR 1958 SC 956, the Supreme Court has stated that in determining the scope and ambit of the fundamental rights relied on by or on behalf of any person or body, the court may not entirely ignore the directive principles but should adopt the principle of harmonious construction and should attempt to give effect to both as far as possible. The directive principles are a ready and dependable index of what a public purpose is intended to be. The object of directive principles. According to Dr. Ambedkar, the directive principles are instruments of instructions to the legislature and the executives. Explaining the significance of these principles in the Constitution, Dr. Ambedkar said, "Whoever captures the power will not be free to do what he likes with it. In the exercise of it, he will have to respect these instruments, which are called directive principles. He cannot ignore them. These principles have the same place as the conventions in the English Constitution, which have come to acquire sanctity not inferior to the sanctity of law, or rather superior to it, inasmuch as the strictly legal aspect of things under the English Constitution yields places to the conventions deemed essential to democracy. These are not justiciable. They are merely guidelines to government in action." The directive principle of state policy are as follows. Directive principles generally. I. The state shall strive to promote the welfare of the people by securing a social order permitted by social, economic and political justice. Article 38, 1. 2. The state shall, in particular, strive to minimize the inequalities in income and endeavor to eliminate inequalities in status, facilities, and opportunities not only amongst individuals but also amongst groups of people residing in different areas or engaged in different vocations. Article 38, 2. 3. The state shall endeavor to secure just and human conditions of work, a living wage, a decent standard of living and social and cultural opportunities for all workers. Article 43. 4. The state shall endeavor to raise the level of nutrition and standard of living and to improve the health of the people. Article 47. Promotion of international peace and amity. Article 51. 6. equitable distribution of the material resources of the community and prevention of concentration of wealth and means of production. Article 39. The Constitution, 42nd Amendment, Act, 1976, has amended Article 39, F. The new clause provides that children are given opportunities and facilities to develop in a healthy manner and in condition of freedom and dignity, and that childhood and youth are protected against exploitation and against moral and material abandonment. While interpreting the word distribution used in Article 39, B. Justice Krishna Iyer said in the state of Karnataka v. Ranganath Reddy, AIR 1978 SC 215, that it cannot be given full play as it fulfilled the basic purpose of restructuring the economic order. It embraces the entire material resources of the community. Its task is to distribute such resources. Its goal is to undertake distribution as best subserve the common good. It recognizes by such distribution the ownership and control. Directive in shaping the policy of the state. 1. To establish economic democracy and justice by securing certain economic rights. 2. To secure a uniform civil code for the citizens. Article 44. 3. To provide free and compulsory primary education. Article 45. 4. To prohibit the consumption of liquor and intoxicating drugs except for medical purpose. Article 47. 5. To develop cottage industries. Article 43. 6. To organize agriculture and animal husbandry on modern lines. Article 48. 7. To prevent slaughter of useful cattle, i.e., cows, calves, and other milch and draught cattle. Article 48. 8. To organize village panchayats as units of self-government. Article 40. 9. To protect and maintain places of historic, artistic interest. Article 49. 10. To separate the judiciary from the executive. Article 50. 11. To promote with special care the educational and economic interest of the weaker sections of the people. Article 46. Directive in the nature of non-justiciable rights of every citizen. I. Right to adequate means of livelihood. Article 39, A. 2. Right of both sexes to equal pay for equal work. Article 39, D. 3. Right against economic exploitation. Article 39, E.F. 4. Right to work. Article 41. V. Right to education. Article 41. 6. Right to public assistance in case of unemployment, old age, sickness and other cases of undeserved want. Article 42. 7. Free legal aid to safeguarding backward class. Article 39-A. 8. Participation of workers in management of industries. Article 43-A. 9. Protection and improvement of environment and safeguarding of forests and wildlife. Article 48-A. 93rd Amendment Bill, 2001. The 93rd Amendment Bill, 2001, which will subsequently become the Constitution, 86th Amendment, Act 2001, proposes to substitute as new article for Article 45, which provides that the state shall endeavor to provide early childhood care and education for all children until they complete the age of 6 years.